And we're back. Welcome everybody to the Ghost Files podcast, episode 13. After about a month hiatus, we're back on the grind here. We're kicking it back off with a great guest, Sophia. Sophia, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Would you like to give a little intro to the people at home?
Sure. I'm Sophia Esteves. I'm a senior at WA, obviously. Um, I'm going to Auburn University next year, which I'm super pumped about. So yeah,
Yep. So- Sounds good. Sounds good. Alrighty. Usually, we start off this podcast by just getting right into it. How's senior year going, for you so far?
definitely not what I expected at all. It's kind of sucked. I mean, I know that the school's trying as hard as it can with the Senior Olympics and stuff, and I'm like really glad we have that thing like in the upcoming week where we can all like eat food and play games and stuff with each other. But it's definitely sucked not having like all of our friend group together and being split up because like I feel like I never see my friends anymore. Like I only see them on weekends and I'm working sometimes during the weekend, which really stinks.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's been a wacky year, but I feel like we're making the most of it. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of cons, but has there been any bright spots from this senior year?
Um, I mean, yeah, definitely. We've all like had to adapt and like I've like hung out with friends who where we celebrated New Year's together outside, like wearing masks and stuff, which was really fun. Um, what else? Oh, Spirit Week was super fun. I really liked doing that and like dressing up and going all out finally because it's like our senior year. Um, I just finished swim season and that was such a great experience, like getting my last season. And I feel so bad for the like hockey and basketball. Like I can't even imagine what they must have felt like having their season taken away. And just like really appreciating the last couple like months I have with my friends. Like I take everything like I don't take anything for granted. I'm so like excited to see people and I'm really happy that we can still like see each other sometimes.
Definitely, definitely. Obviously, getting into spring now, so we're getting closer to graduation. But there's still a lot on the horizon for senior year, capstone, and
Hmm.
even as I said, graduation and even prom, hopefully. So what are your plans for the rest of the year?
So I have my lacrosse season coming up. I'm a captain this year, which I'm super excited about. We just started like discussing the stuff we want to design for all of our apparel, which is a super fun process. Like I'm so excited that I finally get to do that. Um, I have my prom dress. Super excited to wear that, hopefully, because I really missed out on that last year. Um, I don't know. It's really getting sad. Like I'm really getting sad kind of. I always thought I was like, I'm not gonna be sad graduating, but it's been like really hitting me recently. In public speaking, we had to give like a little graduation speech thing, and I ran out of the room crying because I was like so overwhelmed. I was like, why am I like this? I always said I was gonna be fine, and like I'm so ready to leave, but like now that it's coming so close, it's really making me sad, and like I'm really gonna miss WA and the people because like it's been a huge part of my life, obviously, and I made my best friends there. So
Yeah,
bittersweet, really bittersweet.
definitely. I mean, hey, that's the thing about emotions. They can just hit like a truck sometimes
I
out of
know.
nowhere. Um, so yeah, we talked about a little bit about senior year, but now let's look towards the future a little bit. As you mentioned, newly committed to
Mhm.
Auburn for next year, the next four. Um, Walk us through that process and deciding on that school and all of that.
So I first heard about Auburn through some family friends who moved from Auburn, and they were obviously huge fans. I mean, it's an SEC school. What do you expect? People are crazy, like big fans down there. So immediately I was like, oh, I want to learn more. Like I want to tour. And my junior year, we went down for the Auburn Ole Miss game, and just I just felt this like feeling in my gut. I was like, this feels like home. This feels so comfortable, and just seeing all the traditions and just it had everything I wanted. It was a big school with good academics and yeah, it just felt like home immediately when I got there. And then I kept doing research because my mom and my guidance counselor were like, you can't just apply to one school. And I was like, yeah, obviously I know. So I found schools that were similar to that. So I applied to like UGA, and UMass, Maryland, Penn State, big schools like that. But I just kept thinking about Auburn. Like it was always in the back of my mind. It always made me so excited to just talk about and think about. So I actually just got back from touring Auburn and UGA. And that was really helped me make my decision because I realized when I was touring UGA, I was just like comparing everything to Auburn, and it just didn't compare. It didn't feel like I could see myself there. It was like too, almost like too big, which is like not. It's just not what I wanted. Auburn was just so like felt so close knit, and I really could see myself like having the best 4 years there.
Definitely, definitely. It's interesting because I feel like growing up in Westford, there's a tendency for kids to stay closer to home. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
obviously we have a great, New England has some great schools, so it's a popular choice and well deserved, obviously, because those are some great schools. But how, was it like a goal for you to try to like get farther away from home and try to see more of the country, or was that kind of just like what came with going to Auburn and then you just kind of fell in love with it regardless of the location?
At first, it was definitely just like I, it just came along with the fact that Auburn was so far away. I'm really close with my family. My mom's like my best friend. So I don't want to be far from her and from the rest of my family, but Auburn just felt so perfect. And eventually I liked the idea of going far because it's something totally different from what I've experienced here in Massachusetts. And I think it'll be really good for me to really push myself out of my comfort zone because I feel like if I went to a school maybe closer to home, then I would just be tempted to go home all the time or like see my like old high school friends. And I just really wanted to push myself to like be uncomfortable because I feel like that will help me in future situations in life.
Yeah, totally. I agree 100%. I kind of went through the same process with ASU. Is like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's like halfway across the country, but it's like it's a new experience. Like
Yeah.
you kind of have to get in that uncomfortable range in order to like find new things that, and eventually you'll feel like home, like you said.
Yeah.
So,
What else made you pick ASU?
um, so obviously we toured last winter, actually a month before Corona, which was lucky for us, but
Yeah.
obviously it was in February and it was like 75 degrees, and so I was like, all right,
Oh
this
my
is
God.
this is already better. So that's a start. Um, but luckily for me, I've actually had some friends that are older than me and they go to ASU, so they kind of gave me a unofficial tour and they showed
Oh,
me
that's
the
so
ropes
nice.
a little bit. And obviously I didn't really know what I was gonna do, like college wise. Like I knew what major I wanted to do, but I didn't know what school
Hmm.
like fit me for that. And ASU was just such like a long shot because it's like it's halfway across the country. I don't think that's for
Hmm.
me. But like kind of like you in Auburn, like once you got there, like it just kind of hits you, and like
Hmm.
I kind of just fell in love with it to the point where when I started looking at other schools, it was just like pointless.
Hmm.
So
I
yeah.
think what definitely helps is touring when other students are there. Like that's what just like seeing kids like out on the lawn, like throwing baseballs, playing spike ball, like reading, doing homework. Just like seeing that environment, I feel like is really important for everyone because it just gives you a sense of what people do there and like what that school is like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know like summer's definitely a popular time to tour since
Hmm.
there's more free time, but you're
Yeah.
not really getting that full experience because I remember going to the campus and you got, people on bikes, skateboards, people just
Hmm.
walking around the class and stuff like that. And that's like the true feeling about it.
Yeah.
It's like you get that full feel. All right, so that wraps up your college decision in a way, but do you have any plans for the future besides academics that you're kind of looking forward to?
I'm definitely looking forward to grad party season. Last summer was pretty epic, so I'm hoping that we were able to top it this summer with 2021 grad parties. Um, I'm really excited. My family bought a Cape House over quarantine, so I'm excited to be able to go down there and possibly like bring friends with me. Um, and definitely just like meet new people when I get to college all over the from all over the country, because it's just so refreshing to get so many people's like perspective on life and like where they grew up, like and what they want to do with their life, I feel like.
Yeah, totally, totally. Um, so you're majoring in nursing, right?
No, I'm a so it's actually kind of complicated how Auburn
Okay.
does it. It's like I'm in the pre-med class. So I don't know exactly how it works, but my sophomore year I declare my major. So I'm gonna declare my major bio.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm right now I really want to be an OBGYN. That could totally change once I get to like organic chem and stuff like that. But that's kind of what the track I'm trying to like follow.
So like the medical field, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm.
I knew it was something like close to that.
Yeah.
Um, so you explained why you chose the college. Why did you choose that major or path of career?
I've always kind of just felt drawn towards the sciences. Like I've always done way better in my math and science classes. Both my parents were in the science field. My mom was a nurse, and my dad's a professor of like neuroscience. So I've always like I just felt like it was something like that I wanted to do too. Like I never felt like I could be a business major. Like that never just like interests me. Like I took a business class freshman year, and I took DECA or did DECA, whatever, and it just was like it was fun, but I just couldn't see myself doing that further, and I was just drawn to it. I like remember when I was younger, I like wrote about this for one of my applications about like why I chose my major, and it was like we had our friends over in our backyard in our old house, and it had this hill, and we would ride like in the truck, like Tonka trucks down the hill, and one of the kids like scraped up his knee pretty bad, and I like ran inside and got like band-aids and Neosporin, and just that feeling of like helping someone feel better, like just I don't know, I always like I've known since then, which is like crazy to sound, which sounds crazy because I was like what 7 maybe, but I've always just like known like I love taking care of people and like just helping people feel better. That's why for a while I thought I wanted to be a psychologist, but now I've kind of like shifted. I've like gone through waves figuring out what I want to do.
Cool, cool. Um, is there like a obviously you mentioned what you want to be, but is there like a specific like place you want to do it or like title that you want to get to like, once you're out of college?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a dream to work at like Mass Gen in Boston. Like I'd kill to live in Boston like after medical school. I just love the city. I remember over the summer I was in we went there for just like a day trip, and it was just so like pretty and just so oh, I just wanted to live there looking at all the buildings and just like restaurants, the cool places. Like it's just such a cool place to explore. And I've obviously never lived in a city, like a major city. So I feel like it would be like a really cool thing to do like once I'm out of school for good, like looking for work. Cause I feel like there's a lot of work probably in the cities and like hospitals around the cities. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what I want.
definitely. I mean, with all the obviously great hospitals in the area, there's total possibility and that would be pretty cool if you could live in the
Hmm.
city for sure. Um, Getting back to the present day, you mentioned swimming and lacrosse coming up. How did you get started in these sports, and like how do you think they've affected you in like the person you are today?
So I started lacrosse in third grade because my mom played lacrosse, and I remember her telling me about it, and I like wanted to be just like her. So I like tried it for a year, and my mom ended up being my coach, and she always just like pushed me really hard, and I loved the competitiveness of lacrosse. I remember my dad was like I played soccer at the time, and he's like you go for that ball way more aggressively in lacrosse than you ever have in soccer. Like you can tell you really have a passion for it, and I mean, as the years went on, I just grew more passionate about it. I started doing club, and freshman year of high school, my goal was to make varsity. And I mean, I did it, and I was so proud of myself. And I think it just goes to show that like hard work really pays off. And I recognize that in my swimming too. Like I had to work really hard to like make the states and the sectionals cuts. and like to get the spot on the state team. And especially sophomore year, I had double knee surgery. So I had to like really work in physical therapy to get back to for like swim season. And it was really hard because I had to miss part of the beginning of the swim season. So it just really goes to show how hard work does pay off. And I think it just made me more of like a resilient person and a person who cares for the hard work, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's pretty impressive being obviously on WA Swimming with their track record. Obviously, kind of a dynasty of
It's
state
been pretty cool
championships.
being part of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like basketball where it's like, oh, I do swimming in my free time. I feel like the swimming team's very like, you guys are
Hmm.
like 100%, you're hard work a lot. Like you've been doing it for a long
Yeah.
time. So it's pretty impressive. If you could go back, would there be like a sport or hobby you'd want to pick up if you could like go back in time and try something?
I think I'd want to go back and keep playing soccer. Definitely. My mom like was like, you like have to quit. Like you can't do this with your schedule. Cause I actually really enjoyed soccer, but obviously I had to pick swim or soccer. So I picked swim. Um, hmm, I don't know. Hobbies. I wish I was better at drawing for some reason. I feel like that's really cool. Like my brother like loves doing like the graphic design stuff. Like he does that on his iPad all the time, and I'm like in awe. It's like all so cool. I wish I was like good at drawing, I guess. Or like playing a musical instrument like Luke. It's so like
Oh
cool how
yeah,
he can play piano and viola. Like I wish I had musical talent.
same, 100%. The the way he picks up instruments and he just like goes hard
I
on them
know.
is like
It's so funny.
making
I
me
love it.
making me jealous every day. Um, all right, let's see here. What we got for questions? Oh, yeah, we're getting to the home stretch here, but this is kind of a fun question. Favorite high school memory?
Oh, oh my God. Oh, probably all of the really fun nights. I can't pinpoint one. Just like the parties in Kaylee's basement. Those always just I always had the best times there.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely up there for me too.
Hmm.
I think I forget who I was with, but we were talking about how like Kaylee's basement is like the mecca of Worcester. It's like
It
it's just
is.
like such a gathering place, a legendary gathering place, and it's just like
I mentioned it in my senior quote. I was like, shout out to Kaylee's basement.
yeah,
Like it
exactly.
has so many memories in there.
It's like a hall of fame basically.
Hmm.
Um, on the flip side, this question, biggest regret from high school.
Hmm. I think part of it not pushing myself enough academically and hmm, kind of not putting myself out there enough and not being bold enough to like say some stuff sometimes or like be more outgoing because I feel like I can be really reserved sometimes when I'm alone, like in a new setting. So I wish I kind of just pushed myself more and wasn't as nervous in certain settings, I guess. Tried to make more friends. I mean, I love all of our friends to death, but like, I don't know, made like friends like through different classes or something. I don't really know.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Um, let's see. Uh, oh, thing you'll miss the most about high school.
I think just the random like hangouts on the weekends and like driving around with all of our friends like on Friday nights or Saturday nights when no one would host. We all hated it at the time, like the fact that we like weren't somewhere, but like sometimes like the greatest memories happen just driving around. So I think I'll miss those little things. Um and just like being in school, honestly, like with like the teachers that I've like Miss Winokur was such a great like role model for me. I loved her. And just like walking through like the halls with our friends laughing and joking. Like I'm really gonna miss that. Like just being with people that I like really enjoyed and I'm really similar to. Quality time, probably with those people.
Yeah. I for me, I think I'm gonna miss like the most is like just those I feel like high school has like tons of those random moments where it's just like something hilarious happens. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could be something totally random or someone totally random, and it's like
Yeah.
especially because I mean we're not close with like every single person in the school, and I feel like it's not until after you get out of high school it's like, man, I kind of wish I connected with this person more
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
exactly.
Um, oh, this is a good one. All right. 5 years from now, where do you want to see yourself? We kind of touched on it already, but like the sum
Yeah.
it up.
Um, 5 years from now, I'd be, I think, graduated. Yeah, graduated. I maybe I'd want to take a gap year between college and med school just because that would be, Jesus, 20 years. No, 20 plus years of learning like in a row. Like I just
Yeah.
like don't know if I could do that. Um, I definitely want to see myself at a good med school, but also in a place that I like feel comfortable, feel at home, you know. Um, I hope I found like I hope I kept the relationships that I have like in high school and made some of my best friends and like best memories in college. And just not to have too many regrets. Like I definitely don't want to live my life wishing I did things. Like I want to really experience all I can that life has to offer and just say yes to like things that maybe like I'm too tired to go out one night. Like I just want to like say yes and not have regrets, you know?
Totally. Totally. Um, all right, here's the grand finale question, the big one we
Okay.
ask everybody at the end. Um, if you could give a piece of advice to freshmen going into WA, what would it be?
Putting yourself out there and meeting everyone you can, because that's the thing I regret most, I feel like. And not really caring as much as like not caring as much of like what other people think of you because I mean, it just it brings you down and it really like it might make you like way too preoccupied just thinking about what everyone thinks about you. You just need to like be confident in yourself, I feel like.
Hmm. That's, I mean, I'd 100% I'd agree with that. Um, I feel like people spend too much time in high school like thinking like what will happen instead of going and doing it and just not
Hmm.
thinking about the consequences
Yeah.
because people just worry too much. You just kind of have to
Hmm.
YOLO, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, this was fun, Sophia. I want to thank you for coming on the
Of
podcast.
course. I love doing this. That
Yeah.
was fun.
You're now part of the very exclusive list of guests. So I appreciate it. We we here at the podcast, even though it's just me, wish you the best in the future. So
You
yeah,
too.
thanks. So that'll wrap it up for episode 13 for the Ghost Files podcast. I'm Dan Allison, and thank you for listening.